Hey everybody, you are tuning in to a not so special Free Matt podcast.
Anytime we get to free ball, it's a special time.
Yes, not wearing any pants. I'm flapping in the breeze. The guy with the guy not making the masturbatory sounds with a horseshoe mustache is yours truly, Matt Free Matt, the man, and this will be on my constitutional left, right here.
Michelangelo.
Magic. That man is General Patrick Flynn. Ladies
How
and
y'all
gentlemen,
doing?
General Patrick Flynn, featuring General Patrick Flynn.
Really? Both of me? Both of me. All right, we're getting both of me today.
He's so dope, he opened up for himself at a concert.
Heh.
All right, folks. As always, the Free Matt podcast
Needs to be sponsored by our local brewers.
Why not? Cross-eyed, get beers. Me get beers from Cross-eyed Owl Brewery.
Yes, this week it was cross-eyed.
We, either one of us, or General Patrick Flynn, who in his army has a connection with the great people there at the brewery. One of the few breweries allowed to operate under the watchful eye of General Patrick Flynn.
Mm-hmm. Because I do watch me some beer. Oh, have you gotten some Belgian double while it's on rotation?
I have not.
You sir, are slacking.
I've also been nursing my flipper here.
Yes, but that's what alcohol is for. It's nursing.
Taking pills and...
Exactly.
All right, folks. Lord. Had an eventful week. I've had my stitches taken out, going to physical therapy, trying to fix the old flipper here. But the Free Matt podcast is always kind of a half-assed libertarian roundtable, social commentary, economics, put it in a blender with magnesium and steel BBs and hope the damn thing doesn't catch the blender on fire, because somebody can make margaritas.
And the other half is me.
But blessed as always to address good people. Also, glad to have General Patrick Flynn here. Glad he is in good spirits. I'm glad that he is feeling well. And
You're just glad all the way around.
I'm actually, I tell people I am happy. I try to find positive things, and I want other people to be happy. So I said I find reasons to be happy.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's true. Happiness is a choice. You get to choose your perception on how you look at things. And why I say choose your perception is just the old adage of perception is reality. So if you change your perception, that gives you a new personal reality. And how do you do that? We're back to the word personality. There's your coaching tip for the day. You're welcome. It was free.
Then don't be a dick.
That helps.
Unless your name's Richard, and then you're off the hook. I've actually met
Richard.
Most people I've known. I mean, any Richards. I've actually known a handful of Richards. That's actually been decent people.
That's kind of like Katie. It's like if the chick is named Katie, odds are she's a cool chick.
Some are all right.
Most Katies I know, they're cool chicks.
Most of them have been okay. Yeah.
Yeah. See what I mean?
It's a survivable. See, Sarah and Elizabeth are kind of on the fence, as I've known some real. I'm not even supposed to use the old Hiroshima. The old. Sorry, some of you ladies named Sarah and Elizabeth, some of you are cunts.
Yeah.
And
dropping to Hiroshima early.
You gotta weed through. It's almost like at a yard sale, and you're looking for Brioni shirts and suit coats, and I'm like, I gotta weed through this garbage. It's god awful, you know.
Yeah.
There's too many vomit stains. I'm like, where's this Brioni? And you're like, I really just am sick of weeding through this crap.
Yeah.
Katie's and a handful of others have been pretty good. For some reason, I can defend Taylor's, even though it's an ambiguous name.
It really is. I mean, come on.
How many chicks named Matt do you know? And don't say you with a wig either.
I was about to say at least one with a handlebar.
That's what I do on my off time.
With the moobs.
Oh, yeah. Missing the gym because of this flipper here. But I'm optimistic. I've been doing some typing and just reading and thinking. But our loose basis for our show today, basically like 3 beefs we have with libertarians. And I know that was kind of what we were getting at, and I didn't even have any notes. And
no, this is completely unrehearsed, off the cuff. I got a text. He said, "Here's an idea." I said, "Let's roll with it." I got 2.
And
yeah,
there you go. No, just making sure you have the mic up closer.
Yeah, it's an art, because you don't want to be like right up here, but you gotta.
Well, no, but it's weird because I didn't. I don't know, like some of the settings and stuff, and it makes it impossible to do audio, and I'm have to fix it in the mix. We'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
All right, then.
It's all right here.
Anyway,
but I think I brought up one of my beefs with libertarians. It was kind of like a shitty virtue signaling title to call yourself libertarian, and I make fun of libertarians here. I make fun of the freedom fiends.
We all do.
The freedom fiends are actually going off air, and somebody's like, "Well, you're hating. They're the ones on the radio," and I was like, "No." Michael W. Dean from the Freedom Fiends, which is really nice to say. That guy's actually given me a lot of the tips and a lot of the like equipment ideas and stuff, and just input. A lot of wild shit he's helped me out with, and he doesn't even know me. And I disagree with some of his social ways and some of the folks in the movement, but I can say this much for the Wyoming people: they're kind of like they're cutting their own wool, and I have mad respect for these people. And Nema, which I know
that's a Tool song.
Well, Nema Badati, who was
Well, you said Nema. That is a Tool song.
Oh, it's Nema Badati. I think that's how it was pronounced. But he was a newsman, and he ended up making videos and other informational stuff. I think he actually rapped too. But he's actually, I mean, both the guys are really smart, and they busted their ass for years. And I know they've struggled, and they're OGs to me. But it's a little outside of my my wheelhouse, but mad props on them. But some of the people that I've run into in the liberty movement, and I don't think they know how to win. I think when they win, they want to lose on purpose. And I think it's almost a virtue signaling thing. Like
well, first off, what do you mean by virtue signaling? Because that's kind of ambiguous.
It's like how everybody calls himself Indian now, and they're not enough Indian to make it matter. They're like
what's the cutoff? Because I'm a quarter.
Well, I mean, I don't I don't work for the Census Bureau.
I'm just throwing shit out there.
But it's instead of just saying hell I'm an American or hell I'm a people want a virtue signal. They want either to feel like a victim or look like a victim, or they try to look like a winner by looking like a victim. And I think people have done that with being a libertarian. Like, yeah, man, I'm real raw, and I'm really raw, guys, and I'm downtrodden because I'm a libertarian. And I'm like, some people, and we've seen it actually. If you, I know this is a real stretch, but it's been in the news. There's a nice gasp in New Hampshire. Somebody that came up in the ranks of the moved there for the Free State Project, and one of their people flipped their lid and ended up, when they got into political office, basically started attacking free staters and other liberty-minded people.
Really?
Yeah, and really, I think that they used it as a springboard.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think people use it like I'm edgy and I can, this is a marketing experience, or like, yeah, man, I'm being stepped on because I'm a libertarian. And just instead of saying libertarian, you're like, yeah, well, I'm gay.
So basically, input social justice, whatever, and just substitute libertarian for it. That kind of grandstand.
Yes,
that kind of grandstanding, basically.
There's no realness to this, and it's really stupid. And I don't get it. And I think if there's so many people that there's so many people that are working at something, and they actually mean something to the movement, who don't even call themselves libertarians. And one of them's John fucking Stossel, Fox News.
Okay.
Used to be on the news, used to talk about, is the government really necessary
I've
here?
I've read some of his articles. Actually, like some of the stuff he talks about.
And the thing is, he's like, I don't want to call myself a libertarian, which he really doesn't. And other people call him that. And he's just like, I just think you should be doing something instead of the government.
Well, just because you're pro-liberty doesn't necessarily make you a libertarian. Does that make sense? Just because you like individual freedoms, you don't have to be a libertarian to like that.
Well, I'm starting to believe you do, because some of these ass clowns.
Well, I'll grant you that.
Well, somebody ought to pass a law. And I'm like,
there's your first problem. If the law is the answer, the question's wrong.
Shitbirds. Like, the drinking age is 21. I'm like, and it really
shouldn't be. It should be lower, actually.
Actually, it should be determined on the lowest localist level possible.
Well, the way I look at it, honestly, and I know this is a bit of a tangent, but when you get to sign up to go dodge a bullet, dude. But like I was saying, when you get to sign up to go dodge a bullet, that's when you get to drink.
No, we have graduated rights in this country. Honestly, don't think they ought to let you vote. I said they ought to make you quit getting drafted. And I don't even think, I think they ought to just make you like, maybe they just have like some they ought to put like diaper patrol on your driver's license. Instead of giving you the upside down one, that'll give you like diaper patrol. They're like, so our people don't have to read your license, Make it like a bright pink, god-awful color. Like, well, they're not real people. They can't be U.S. citizens. They're morons. They're under the age of 21.
True.
But it's okay for us to give them an M16 and go shoot people.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's kind of like I said, a bit of a tangent there.
It's
but
a terrible tangent.
Let's go back on to let's get back on topic. Your grandstanding, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the damn virtue signaling thing, and I'll drop it, but it's almost like the people who don't use it as a advertising platform.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to mention this chick, because I honestly think she's just a liberal feminist and called herself a libertarian. Libertarian. Yeah, because that's what I think about her.
Okay.
Libertarian. I don't know. She's just like a feminist libertarian, and she's a left libertarian, which was a Conklin libertarian, which I kind of put that two and two together. But honestly, just read some of her work, and she's just a shitbird. I was like, just come out as a leftist. Like, you don't have the blue hair, but you're damn near a leftist.
Well, you're saying all this, but you haven't name dropped.
I don't even know if I have her name right.
Okay.
But I've read her stuff, and her first name's Kathy. I don't want to say her last name, but
okay. Well, it gives us something to go by. I'm checking my notes.
It's not anybody else I know named Kathy.
Yeah.
It's not her.
Uh-huh.
God bless you, woman. Well, anyway, folks, the whole damn virtue it's virtue signaling, and then they're like, there's pussies too. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna. I've only had a half a beer. The person I'm referencing.
It looks 3/4 to me, but anyway.
Well, It's optimism.
I'm that dick.
Optimism. But there's folks in the liberty movement that I've seen on LRN.FM, and you can go watch it yourself. It's I love the guy, a lot of those people, Free Talk Live, but I honestly think that they have a motley mix sometimes of chicken shits and people that would sit there and they're almost like pacifist. They're gonna lose just on purpose, and there's a point where I think these people need to learn how to fight, but they honestly know they're better at losing than they are anything else. And I honestly think they ought to get fight the power. I honestly think those kind of people get their asses whooped and they're used to it. And I don't want to name one specific person. There's just a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That are in that movement, and there's some very smart people, but the people that are headlining that we see the most active, some of them are pussies, and I'm like, they're terrible representatives. They're mentally ill people. They're not. We're talking about marketing. Look, we're human beings. You have to market, and I know we just segued into the second
exactly.
part. Watch me throw it. Watch me throw it.
I'm running. I'm going to the end zone, coach. It's mine. All right. See, my thing is, my biggest complaint about the LP is they don't know how to market and deliver a message effectively. Effectively being the key word. I mean, the Libertarian Party has been around, 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
And they just now, with Gary Johnson's last run, got the most votes they ever got. But it wasn't even the 10% they needed? I think it was 6 or 7?
Six or seven.
In 40 years, the best you can do so far is 6 or 7. That is a messaging problem.
You lost to the guy from the Celebrity Apprentice.
Well, that you could say that for all parties, but still.
Yeah, but we lost too.
Yeah.
We're used to losing.
Even though if you talk to the LP, we won, but no, we lost handedly.
It's fake news. It's fake news.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my biggest problem is they don't really market their message effectively. I mean, you could look at Gary Johnson's last campaign. When it first started, it was saying one thing, especially in terms of drugs and stuff. Then with the last one where Bill Weld said, that infamous "I'm here supporting da-da-da-da," or it might have been the one before that where he was Gary Johnson was trying to walk back what he thought about the drug war and legalizing drugs and all that stuff. I don't know if you remember that, but do you? That's a problem. You're just because you tried to be the person that everybody liked, and when you're that kind of person, you can't please everybody, so you please no one, and nobody voted for him. Well, I say nobody, but what I mean is not enough to get that almighty 10% at least.
His own several percentage points of his own people around the United States, especially in electoral college states, came out. And they purposely moved for Trump. And these are people that have been marginalized. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about people in the alt-right. A lot of them consider themselves libertarians. And they were nowhere near supporting Johnson. And they polarized. Instead of making the diamond, like we talk about the political diamond, there's left, right, authoritarian.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing is, these people have been marginalized, and they moved for Trump, and they moved to the alt right. And I was like, you lost percentage points because you fell asleep at the fucking wheel. I mean, there's Paulites that moved for fucking Trump,
which is crazy.
And I was like,
cray.
Johnson couldn't even get Ron Paul voters to vote for him. It's like somebody could have handed you those votes if you would have tried.
Here's the funny thing. The reason I voted for Gary Johnson is Austin Peterson. Period. Because when he was running for that position to be the nominee.
The Attorney General, maybe?
No. When he was running to be the nominee for the Libertarian Party. That's what I mean. When he was doing that, he said if he did not win and if Johnson won, he would support Johnson. He lost. Johnson won. He supported Johnson like he said he was going to do. And he continued to support Johnson throughout the whole campaign and kept his word. That's why I voted for Johnson. Period.
Which is funny because if you look back, and I've told you the history of when the popular candidate or crossover candidate, Libertarians, and quite often they went against other Libertarian Party people. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, Libertarian Party people actually supported them. And you're wondering why people can't hang on to there's no loyalty, I guess. It's almost like they're like a marketing experience for these people.
Yeah.
What I talk about virtue signaling, there's something beyond virtue signaling. It's like, okay, well, we can just do this for a year. I'd have nothing going on. How can I get airplay?
Well, see, that kind of ties into my second thing that I think the Libertarian Party really annoys me is they take. Well, let me rephrase and say most libertarians take an all or nothing approach. You're either like all in on this liberty thing and they want it to go from now to like complete and utter libertarian bliss with no real desire to get there, win the small victories inch by inch by inch, which is the way we lost our liberties in the first place. It wasn't some big swooping deal that was passed. It was inch by inch, and it was that bad message was crafted in a way that was deliverable and palatable to people.
One of the weird things, and you'll notice that the big three or the big four people that have any intention of running the next time around, they're even thinking about it. They're even before the national level convention is around, or even the states level convention, that they're having local elections. And that was one of the things is we start local at these smaller offices, and we've had some decent headway. But the weirdest thing is people like Gary Johnson are nowhere to be found. You'll have Bob Barr is nowhere to be found to help these little guys. And it makes me sick. I'm like, what's the word? I said, everybody in your family, and I use this like, everybody in your family. You come out and you help your cousin move.
Right.
You go to, if you're a Jew, you go to, bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. Sorry, I have no tongue for that. But anyway, we don't have. There's no loyalty and there's no family, and you'll notice that it's the little people that are doing all the damn work. It's the little people, like the volunteers and stuff. The people who got together in D.C. for the trash pickup. They had the people for the local elections to help out with to volunteer with the polls and stuff, and libertarians at the local smallest levels. Those people are busting their ass, and the people with all the fucking limelight are nowhere to be found.
And I also think, we are just spinning off on some shit because
we're still doing all right.
What you're talking about is another problem I see, and at the local level, it's very disorganized. Very disorganized. Like, you've got to go out, search, and find where these, the local chapters meet. And even then, it's not really like, okay, which district, it's really hard to find the details.
I will say this much, on occasion, our conservative radio show has highlighted some of the smarter people in our state. And a buddy of mine was a delegate in the state. And it's cool because he's just a chemical operator. And he met guys that I knew from like the Mises Institute, guys who were ending up in Washington, some of the thinkers, the guys that are think tank level guys. And it's sad because your marketable notables that are for everyday people, like people should know Gary Johnson. Bill Weldon, maybe, but Bob Barr, sure. Saxy Chambliss is somebody like a buddy of his.
That's
from
a real
Georgia.
name.
Yes.
That's a real name. Wow.
Saxby Chambliss. Yes.
Wow.
And he was a friend of Bob Barr's, not a libertarian. But there's people like that who they hands down need to be like, yeah, hey guys, I'm really not in the mix anymore, but you guys really need to go look at and name that person. And even if they're running against somebody, we would say, hey, this person's got, they got some street cred when, an OG like Bob Barr would say, yeah, you need to go check this guy out. I think he's got good ideas. But you saw somebody like Austin Peterson who, he had to go knock down damn doors and hire PR people, and he had to do the work himself to get the votes he did. And God bless him. I know he didn't quite make the nut, but the motherfucker almost did it without any help from a big guy.
Right.
And you start to look, just imagine these policy guys aren't getting inputs and not getting data. And, I call them like think tank people. They're not getting data from these big people. Like, what are these people doing? Is it, a lull time? We know we're not doing anything for 8 months, so we're going to run for president? And it's actually making a mockery out of the party and the process. Because the way that we do, the way that we do, like the state's delegations for the libertarians do it a lot different. And then the national level is a lot different. It's way different than what the Republicans and the Democrats do. I'm not sure about the Greens. I'm not sure about ASP or anybody smaller like that.
Oh, I got no clue.
American Socialist Party.
Well, there's
that
one.
should not be confused with the American
Democratic
Socialist Party.
Is it just? I don't want to sound like too America here, but is it just crazy that we even have parties in America with the word socialism in it?
If you took, I want to say, a hybrid of the Republicans and Democrats, and over time they say when you're I don't want to say your empire, but your country, when it matures, one of the things you see is what Germany had, which was socialist Democrats. And it's kind of like a Labor Party, group hug shit in Germany. And that's a serious thing there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's everything from the government's labor standards and trade, like a really, really strong trade union system, which may or may not be the detriment of, men trying to find jobs. Open competition. No, not quite. We have the government involved, but what I was getting at was, yeah, it's a tragedy, but it's a natural progression that a mature society, and we matured a lot quicker than other ones, that being in the state for how long we've had our country, the state, it's almost a natural progression. It's a westernized nation, and maturity, that's where you march off into. I'm not saying it's pretty, but it
just happens. It's what the nature of the beast.
Yeah, and it's a natural progression. It's never been, libertarianism. It's a bar. It's not a system. It's a bar. It's a high bar. The same reason I bring up to people that are like, when you talk about anarcho-voluntarism, And you're like, huh? I was like, they call that anarchy, like libertarian anarchy. Like, well, that didn't work out for you. A lack of a government. Look what happened in Somalia. Well, here's a dirty secret, folks, and I'm not whispering this, but I'm gonna put the mic closer to my mouth here.
It is going to be hush, hush.
Yes, the last functioning government in the 90s in Somalia was a socialist. The ruling part of the government was socialist. It was a socialist party, and I can look that up for you and get the actual name. But when it collapsed and dissolved, now they have a coalition government. Like the one functioning small piece of government they have is a coalition government now. But your broken statements about anarchy is it's a collapse of any sort. It's not libertarianism. It's voluntarism is it's not a government system. It's a high bar of function. It's a goal. It's not like a default mechanism.
Yeah.
What they had in Somalia when the government collapsed was actually called kritarchy. Yes, bear with me.
Kritarchy.
Instead of having a centralized big government, people went back to tribal groups, and family groups. Some of these became larger. You had your elders or your group here. They make decisions, and when you had a beef with another group, another tribe, you would send a representative after like your little elders group, and you go and talk to their elders group, and if y'all didn't fix a beef, you'd probably fucking fight. So that's the best way to describe it. But
Yeah.
But people still had to, vote. There's a system of voting. Some people didn't get to vote, but you were represented by your group. You were represented by, the honky white party or the honky white family, and the Honduran Irishmen probably had their own group.
With our car bombs.
Durka Jihad. No, or what was our third one? Onward to a third one.
Deliver a message, and then that was our third one, man. We went boom, 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 because we went to after the delivering the message. We went to they want all or nothing and no inch, not willing to go inch by inch. So we just rolled it all into a smooth transition.
Don't know how to win, virtue signaling, and
delivering a message,
the inability to continually deliver a message,
and unwilling to to fight an inch by inch war.
Yes, that's knowing how to win.
Well, yeah.
When you have an opportunity to win, you win. I want to say, of all things, the art of war. I was looking around. The art of war was when you're given an opportunity to win. Absolutely, you do. Now, there is a time to be merciful, and there are specific times when it's to your advantage when you get a consolation prize. And yes, I think that Bob Barr was one of those people. Bob Barr went on the think tank. I mean, he's actually a really smart person, but when it came to he had an opportunity. He went around. He used to be a senator. He got off of got off of the senator wagon.
Beat me to it.
But he's done think tank work.
Beat him off to it.
Beat him off to it. Think tank work, and he's helped other people, and he's still big. I'm trying to think, what's his face who was with the Libertarian National Committee, Wayne Allyn Root, still makes some of the conservative rounds, and he's still big on the news circuit. His gambling business, he used to be I don't know if he was a handicapper, but he was big on gambling. He's good with numbers. He's a numbers man. And the thing is that he's a very educated, smart man, is that he's always found, even though he's most of the centrist, or I'll call them the pathological centrist Republicans, or I'll call them Democrats in Republican clothing, they don't like him because he's just a different cat. And I mean, he can call himself a Republican, and he calls himself He's a conservatarian. He's a conservative and a Republican.
Well,
He never hid that he was a Republican.
It's like we've saying, just because you like liberty doesn't mean you have to be a libertarian to like liberty. I mean, that's what's awesome about liberty is it's universal.
Well, I'll say this much about Wayne Allen Road. He didn't flip flop. When he saw shiny things, he didn't sell out. He's himself. He's the same guy. Now, I couldn't get him to write me back. One day I'm going to be like, it's like,
You're going to be a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and he'll be like, man, you could have got in on this.
well, and I was like, all you had to do is return my letter, and you didn't. And then I'll be like, when his people do get back with me, I'm like,
Meh.
I'll be like, if you grew a horseshoe mustache, I would do this deal. And he'd be like, I can't do it. I'm like, you fucked up a good thing, man. It's like you can get a deal out of somebody, and you're like giving them the most ridiculous. Like, I want you to wear these striped socks. I'm not gonna wear the fucking socks. I wasn't even gonna negotiate. That was the negotiation. What your terms are, but I want you to wear these ugly ass socks. No, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, we don't have a deal then.
Yeah.
I'll just go to your opposition and give them a 2% discount. Like, why would you do that? That's fucked up. I was gonna give you money. You wouldn't wear the fucking socks. Wayne Allen Root, if you're watching this, your people watching this, call me before I hit it big. I'm going to make it worth your while. At least I won't. I'll just talk a good game and act serious.
Either way.
Hey, we're going to go horse. When I make it to Henderson, we're going to go do some horsing. Let's do some horse betting.
Horse?
Horsing.
Oh.
Horse racing, betting on horse racing.
You had me enthused there for a minute.
Horse.
Then you said horse.
Horse. Like horsing. But anyway, folks.
God.
Before I needle any more people, any closing remarks there, General Patrick Flynn?
Need another beer.
Yeah, we will close with another beer, but always I did have a very positive day, and I want to leave y'all with some type of a positive affirmation. Once, guys, out of love, I said, no matter how much pain you are, that's physical or emotional, I said, do your best to love others. I said, I actually said this today in a blog posting, but I knew, every day we were talking about these great things we're able to do. And I know a buddy who can deadlift 425 pounds. And the thing is, another guy was like, yeah, I'm getting close. I'm at 400. And I said, I made a fist today. And the thing is, that was like the great thing I could say I did. Because
Well, considering your flipper there, it's a good thing.
And the thing is, I used to be able to deadlift really well, and I'm obviously had to slack off. But the thing is, I know when I'm winning. I know I'm doing all right. I'm happy. You have so many things to be happy about, and I just wish people knew that. I said, you choose to be happy. And I said, if I can't deadlift 425 pounds, I could pick up one piece of trash. But 425 people doing that could clean up a roadside. And I always tell people, don't think your 1 pound is useless. Don't think your one piece of trash is useless. Said, be positive. It's a good thing. Your one good thing is great. You might not think the weight, is the same as deadlifting, but I want you folks to know that you're able to roll with this.
Sometimes you don't realize how awesome just being you can be, and how you can actually impact people and not even realize it. It's the small things that add up. Like one of your favorite phrases is the little things. That's a very accurate statement. It's because it's these little micro steps, when done over time, consistently. Repeat, done over time, consistently, add up to big things.
And this, folks, I said this is something that just think of this way. You might not be deadlifting 425 pounds. I said, well, I'm too tired to go pick up a piece of trash, but you being kind and just being trying to be polite and being,
Decent.
being decent and everyday interaction with somebody, even a stranger, you're helping that much. Some of us suck out in public.
Yeah, what you're doing, as little as that is putting good out there. We need more of that.
But anyway, folks, we'll make that our closing moment.
We had a moment.
Exactly.
Yes, we did.
Do love one another's as you want them to love you. All right, have a good night. Many blessings.
Holla!